Hey guys, so drones have to be one of the coolest technologies to come out in the last 10 years. And they have had a huge impact on the photo video world. Honestly, they've changed it drastically. And there are just so many perks of having a drone nowadays. From establishing shots to maybe just advancing your story forward, drones just allow for so much creativity. So today, I figured I would just share with you 5 tips for getting cinematic drone shots. And numero uno is just changing the sensitivity on your controller. So a lot of the time when I'm trying to capture cinematic sequences, my finger sometimes can slip, or depending on where I'm at, maybe it's really cold. In the past, I've messed up. One of those smooth pans up, turned into a pan up, and then a really fast pan up, and it doesn't look as good. Which causes me to go back and reshoot the clip, ultimately wasting more battery than I needed to. So an easy way to kind of fix this and account for it is just by changing the sensitivity on your controller. So in order to change your settings, all you have to do is tap on these little 3 buttons at the top screen here and go to the top of the list at this little drone icon. So once you click on that little icon, you're going to scroll all the way down to where it says Advanced Settings. And then we're going to go to sensitivity. And you're welcome to copy the settings that I have here. But honestly, it's mostly just what works for you. And then you can even go up to EXP and change the speed of the rudders. And so I have 0.25, 0.2, and then 0.25 again. I've found that they work for me and they're easiest for me to control. Whether you're trying to rotate around something or if you're panning up to it. These are the settings that I've found work the best. And again, it's just tiny little bump downs on these general things. So feel free to test these settings out. These are the ones that work for me best. The next tip that I wanted to talk about was just making sure you're shooting in the correct mode before taking off. GPS mode is, considerably the best mode. It allows you to return to home, it allows you to hover in place without anything drifting it out of place. It really just allows for better shots. Now, what to watch out for is ATTI mode. Now, this is called altitude mode, and your drone will stay in place, but if a gust of wind comes and pushes it horizontally, your drone will go that way. So if you're trying to stay in place while capturing a video, the wind will take it if you are in ATTI mode. Your controller will pop up with an ATTI mode warning on it, so just be aware of that. So generally, just before I take off, I always make sure that I'm in GPS mode. This way I know that it's going to return to home correctly, and it's generally better while getting different shots. I at least film my videos in 2.7K on the Mavic Pro. Sometimes I do film in 4K, but rarely I film in 1080. And the reason for this is, it just looks better. And even if you're only uploading in 1080p to, say, YouTube and downgrading the quality, you still notice a difference. You still notice that that video was shot at a higher resolution. So it's just one of those small things. Don't feel like you need to shoot at the highest resolution. Just know that generally it looks better. So most of the best clips that I have been shot on auto. I think a lot of people think that drones are much like DSLR cameras, where if you're not shooting manual, that it's not going to turn out as good. I think that shooting on auto on the drones is actually a plus. But shooting manual doesn't necessarily make your footage better. And sometimes you might need to do this depending on weather and location, but I found shooting in auto really just does an awesome job. And it's a lot less work. The last tip I have for you guys is just turning on the grid and center points while using your drone. And this is super simple, but honestly, it has helped me a ton. So all you need to do when you're doing this is tap this and go to this little settings icon. And you're going to see grid right here. And you can choose grid lines, grid diagonals. I just did grid lines and then center points. I did a cross, but you can do all sorts of stuff. It's really up to you. But this just really helps with framing. And one problem that I have when flying my drone is sometimes I'm a little off center when I'm trying to fly around an object. It just doesn't come out looking as good because I'm flying around something that should be centered, but it's a little off to the right or off to the left, and this just immediately fixes that problem. It honestly just takes away the guessing game, and it's one of those things that's just like super easy, super simple, but actually helps me a lot. So that'll do it for this video. I really appreciate you guys watching. I hope at least one of these tips helped you in some way. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in the next video. Later.